Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. So, once again, good evening to all of you, and I hope all right, Amritansu, you can join. So, I hope that all of you have seen the essay paper of today's examination. Fine. So, I would like that all of you must write any one of the 8 essays which and where you feel more comfortable in terms of expressing your understanding. So, any topic that you feel comfortable with, you can write one essay in 1,000 to 1,200 words. All right, and you have these 2 days, so you can give it to me on Monday or maybe on Sunday as per your comfortability. ठीक है? तो जब कभी भी मन लगे कि कुछ लिखने का है, तो इस सैटरडे या संडे को कोई भी एक एस्से लिख के मुझे जरा भेज दीजिए आप लोग सब, ठीक है? And try to write in uh, A4 size piece of blank paper and keep one side of that paper, in fact, 1/4 of that paper always blank to write my comment upon that. All right. तो ये लिख के आप भेजिए मुझे, ठीक है? So the topics of essays was simple, in fact. However, it was mainly from philosophy and psychological, you can say, understanding. But nevertheless, I mean, the idea is that topics of essays are always abstract like this way. It is of course, the metal in you and the quality in you that is actually tested through such kind of topics. ठीक है? तो इसलिए थोड़ा मैं देखना चाहता हूँ कि आप लोग कैसे इसको लिखते हैं. Fine, fine. All right. So let us then start with the topic that we are supposed to deal with. Fine. So now I'm sharing with all of you the screen. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So see, yesterday we discussed about the issue of green revolution briefly. In fact, we're talking about the backdrop of the agriculture price policy. So we discussed about agriculture price policy yesterday, in fact, and then of course afterwards we discussed also about the yeah the nuances of agriculture price policy. But in between, there were a few smaller issues which are more of prelims point of view that can also be asked to you as a question there in the prelims. So that is one aspect which also needs to be discussed with all of you, like that various revolutions of agriculture that got started after the success of green revolution in India. And you can see on your screen the revolutions like black revolution for biodiesel, all right, blue revolution for fish production, brown revolution for leather, non-conventional cocoa production also, that is for brown revolution. Then you have food chain revolution, that is doubling the farmers' income until 2022. It is basically in the context of improving the infrastructure for the agriculture practice. In fact, the food godowns and the logistics support to agriculture. That is in the context of food chain revolution. Fine. Then we also have golden revolution, that is in the context of fruit and horticulture. Now, as far as honey production is concerned, we have launched recently a new revolution that is called as sweet revolution. So the government of India has launched in 2000. 17 only it was started, but in 2019-20 it was again re-emphasized, and that is called as the sweet revolution, and that is for honey production, in fact. So that is in fact here. Then you have golden fiber revolution, that is for jute production. Then you have green revolution that we have discussed already. So then you have gray revolution, that is for fertilizer production. Fine. Pink revolution, that is for onion and prawn production. Now, this question has already been asked by UPSC in 2015 mains examination. That is, what is pink revolution in fact? So that is the significance of pink revolution for all of you. Then you have rainbow evergreen revolution, that is for overall development for agriculture. Then you have red revolution, that is for tomato and meat production. Then round revolution for potato production. Then silver revolution, that is for egg and poultry production basically. Then you have silver fiber revolution, that is for cotton production. Fine. And then you have white revolution, that is well known, milk production. Then you have yellow revolution, that is oilseed production. These are basically the prelims related facts. All right. So in prelims, these facts are important because the questions are asked, in fact, in different examinations as well. So in that context, this is relevant. However, for mains, it is not so relevant, not much relevant, in fact, except the scheme which actually has been launched by the government in recent past. For example, pink revolution, I told you, it is or it was important. Similarly, I told you just now, sweet revolution for honey production. So that is extremely important, and probably this year's mains, maybe next year's mains, it might be asked to you. All right, that is sweet revolution. So in that context, it is important. However, it is more important for prelims examination point of view. Okay. Then we discussed about the green revolution. In fact, I discussed about the Norman Borlaug and MS Swaminathan yesterday only. All right, and I also discussed about the pockets where green revolution took place. Fine, this all things we actually have had a discussion yesterday itself. Fine. Then factors, limitations of the revolution we actually have to discuss briefly here itself. All right, because largely a question is not asked directly on green revolution, its limitations, but its consequences on farming can be asked to you as a question. So exactly in that context, we have to understand that green revolution has had mixed bag of results for India. We became food self-sufficient, but at the same time, there were certain limitations also of green revolution, like shortage of water, chemical pesticides, fertilizers use. All right, the quality of land started diminishing. So these all actually have been the limitations of green revolution, primarily from ecological point of view. However, from others' point of view, like socio-economic, also it was having limitation. All right, like limitation in the context of socio-economic, like it also increased inequality among the farmers. All right, that is the very biggest, I can say, shortcoming of green revolution. So inequality increased in India among the farming community, and at the same time, it also, in fact, you can say, brought a huge regional disparity in India. So the rise of regional disparity was also due to the green revolution, in fact. Fine. So that is another very important factor into this. Fine. And at the same time, of course, the political empowerment of farmers also took place because of green revolution. But on the other hand, this political empowerment of the farmers also started creating a problem for the government in terms of acting as a pressure group of the farmers unions, acting as a pressure group to of course to dictate the terms to the government, and this is exactly what is now visible in India. All right, so it is all due to the empowerment of farmers due to the green revolution, and the same empowered farmers today actually has been on the street, or rather they are on the street protesting against the government of India. All right, this is also an impact of the green revolution only in that way. Fine. So that is the issue. These are the issues in fact. So I just told you, in fact, that these all actually have been the impact of the green revolution, that biodiversity was also compensated, in fact, in that way. Land degradation took place definitely in that way. I told you that it was located only in some pockets, and therefore it also brought regional disparity, fine, in that way. Then economic results were also there for the green revolution. It was having a mixed bag of results. Of course, India became food self-sufficient, but at the same time, India also witnessed a sort of, we can say, a high dependency upon chemical fertilizers. And of course, a high degree of commercialization of agriculture also took place due to Green Revolution. So commercialization of agriculture in India also increased due to the onset of Green Revolution. Fine. So these all factors were there which we actually have had to discuss, in fact, briefly. So rainbow revolution was also a concept in India. So we'll discuss shortly. Second Green Revolution we have to discuss now. All right. So let me now tell you exactly how. We'll discuss short Green Revolution, second revolution once more. So I have to now so see. So we were discussing about this agriculture price policy yesterday morning. Fine, I told you about the entire concept of agriculture price policy. All right. So let me start from here itself. So this is what we were discussing yesterday. So I explained to you about the chronological order, the way the APP evolved in India. Fine. So what all actually took place in India in what all phases. That is how we discussed, in fact, yesterday about it. I discussed about what is the purpose of having APP yesterday itself. Fine. And objectives of APP, that it wants to create a price stability in India. Why we need a culture price policy in that way. So we have had discussion about it. Now, of course, today we have to also discuss about the other components, like we discussed yesterday about the MSP. Fine, and this exactly we discussed yesterday about the MSP. And I told you about the MSP of certain crops. In fact, as an example, you can see on your screen that's the latest report of the Government of India regarding the MSP of Rabi crops. And here you can see on your screen the MSP of Rabi crops of wheat, barley, rapeseed, mustard oil, gram, safflower, lentil. So this is how the MSP has been increased, or that is increasing in India in that order. Fine. And I told you about the factors which play a role in deciding the MSP of these crops. So these are the factors basically. So cost production, input prices, input output price parity, past market prices, demand and supply, cost of living, price level inflation. So these all parameters are there. Fine. So there are almost more than dozens of parameters to decide it. Fine. So of course we have discussed it briefly yesterday itself. Shortcomings of APP we'll discuss today, obviously in the context of the MSP. Now, see, we discussed with all of you PPP, PP, in fact, procurement price. I discussed also about the CIP, that is central issue price. ठीक है, ये सब कुछ बता दिया था मैंने कल ही आपको. ठीक है. So now we have to discuss. We have discussed also market intervention scheme yesterday. मैंने बताया था आपको vegetables fruits के लिए होता है ये. We will discuss it later on. So now see, I mean, now we have to move from here forward. See, I mean, this was the brief picture that we actually have had a discussion yesterday. Now let me proceed further. Now see, what we discussed yesterday about the MSP in entirety. All right. Now, if you remember the concept of MSP, I told you that MSP is a sort of a price which provides sort of an insurance to the farmer. In fact, that in a given circumstance, if there's any let's say untoward eventuality or untoward incident that takes place in the market, like for example, it's a glut. So if there's a glut in the market and the price falls down in the market, then the government is there to provide them the assured price. It is all due to support the motivation, or to let's say give the fillip to the motivation to the farmers. That is what actually has been the purpose of MSP. Fine. And I told you that under MSP, the FCI, that is Food Corporation of India, it is supposed to procure the food grains at the MSP rate from the farmers in a situation when farmers do not find the potential buyers in the market. But the point is that MSP will only come into picture after farmers visit to a mandi. But suppose a farmer doesn't visit to a mandi and expects the government to send the FCI to procure the food grains at the MSP rate. Now, this is something that is against the spirit of MSP, because MSP was not like this. MSP was like this, that it was a sort of a security net for the farmers. That you go to the mandi, because mandi is an authorized center in India, legally also, where the farmers will have to conduct the first sale of their product. So first sale of the products of the farmers will have to be done through or via mandi. It is the law. It is a law because under the APMC law, it is prescribed. Okay. Now, once a farmer does not go to the mandi and then expects the FCI to come to their doorstep to procure their food grains, now that is, of course, a violation of the entire provision of MSP. Fine. So, in this context, we have to understand that this has been the practice in India. The farmers have been pressurizing the government, and the government is also, a government has also been coming under their pressure, directly or indirectly, or whatever you can say. I mean, there are also the mutual interest associated with the government and the farmers, or let's say with the FCA officials with the farmers. For example, one of the biggest criticism of the MSP has been that there has been an instances of collusion between the FCA officials and the big farmers in India. Now, the big farmers who are having, let's say, I mean, hundreds and maybe more than hundreds of hectares of land. Now, these farmers, they have been growing a particular product and expecting the FCI to come and procure the entire food products from them. And since there is mutual, of course, collusion, in fact, with this collusion, FCI officials also gets bribe and other facilities from the big farmers. And in lieu of that, FCI procures the food grains, and on paper, they show that they have already procured the prescribed amount of food grains that was supposed to be lifted in this financial year as per the government directions. So they have already procured, let's say, if at all there has been an action that you have to procure 20 million tons at the max of wheat, 50 million tons at the max of, let's say, paddy or rice. And they say that, yes, we have already procured it. Now, it is, of course, the FCI's discretion that where they go. And the flaw lies here itself, because FCI enjoys a very high level of discretion here. Now, FCI officials hardly go to the states like, let's say, Bihar, states like Eastern UP, states like Odisha, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh. So where do they go? So majority of these FCI officials, they lift the food grains mainly from Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, some in Maharashtra, some instances of Gujarat, some instances of Karnataka. So they go to only these 5, 6 selective states in India. And from there only they lift the food grains, and then afterwards they say that this year's quota has been filled up. Now they don't have capacity to procure more food grains. Now see, in this in this situation, what will happen? The poor farmers who actually really needed the support of MSP never receives that. They never receive these support of MSP. I give you one small, we can say, example or illustration that if at any point of time you visit to your own village and there you just try to inquire about it from your local farmers, from your local farmers, that whether FCA officials come here to procure your food grains, they will give you a very amused expression that what are you talking about? What is FCI? Who are these officials? No, this is the fact. Now you can't actually have MSP only for 5 states. MSP is for entire country. But the real benefit of MSP is being reaped or rather has been reaped from the farmers of only 5, 6 selective states of India. And there also, the point is not only about 5, 6 states. The point is also that within these 5, 6 states, there is a discrimination between the rich and the poor farmers. So there also, the rich farmers are able to access the FCI official just because of their contact with them and the commission that they are set in every transaction. So of course, let me tell you, one of my students who was working in FCI, I mean, he was candid in admitting it that we do not even leave 25 rupees, 25 रुपए भी collect करते हैं. If we pay 100 rupees to the farmer, we say, give me 25 rupees out of this. And that is a systematic corruption that is going on in FCI. And this is not about new thing. It's going on in India since last so many years. So people who work in FCI not for the purpose of any social work or for the purpose of any service. They work only for one purpose, to earn more and more money. That's it. All right. So now you can see how deeply this particular organization is corrupt. And this is not what I am saying. This is what the government own committee said. All right. So now you see the FCI, which is responsible to execute the MSP, has not been able to do justice to this particular concept. All right. Now that is the reason why Shanta Kumar Committee, very important committee, you must quote in your answers. Shanta Kumar Committee in 2014, 2014, had recommended strongly to abolish FCI. To abolish FCI and decentralize the process of procurement. Now you'd see the government's own committee has indicted this organization by even referring it that this is a breeding ground of corruption. FCI is a breeding ground of corruption. Now, in the light of this, obviously, it has become imperative for the government to reform this entire MSP process. All right. Now, it is essential to understand that there are multiple limitations with the government. One that first is that, of course, corruption is very, very high. Second, the FCI has not been able to ensure social justice in India, for which the concept of MSP has been designed. Now, the point is social justice only for few, if at all, cannot justify social justice for all in the country. So the point is again very simple and straightforward for all of you, is that the social justice element has completely been trampled down in India. Ironically, the states which are extremely poor, the states where the farmers are extremely poor, the FCI has been able to lift less than 30% of food crops in the last decade. All right. Now, the states which are extremely poor, from there, the FCI has been able to lift less than 30% of the food grains in last one decade. All right. On the other hand, the states which are better, wealthier, prosperous, now from there, the FCI has been able to lift more than 75% of food grains in the last one decade. So even in this particular data, or under this data, we can simply analyze the element of social justice has completely been compromised by FCI. And the problem will further multiply. Let me tell you, further problem is not going to end up here itself. The problem is going to further multiply from here onwards. Now you see, what is the purpose of MSP? MSP, the purpose is very clearly defined. Now, once you procure, let's say once the state procures the food crops under the MSP, what it does with that food crop. Now, see from here, the problem will get magnified. The state has procured the food crops, the food grains from whichever farmers they have procured, they have paid them money. Fine. After that procurement, what FCI does? The FCI has to store it somewhere. All right, FCI has to store it somewhere. FCI has to, of course, properly packed it and then they store it also somewhere. Now the problem starts from here itself. Packing. The method of packing is also highly unscientific in India. All right, it is highly unscientific in India. They've been using the jute bags, which are prone to get infected by fungus if at all there's any element of moisture over there. Secondly, it is easy for the rodents to cut them and to start using the products for them or the crops for them. So again, there's a first flaw, this. Then you say the second flaw. Once it is packed, it has to be transported to nearby godowns. Transportation. The cost of transportation is also involved here, which has to be borne by or borne by the FCI. All right. So now see, transportation is also involved here. In transportation also, there are also instances of corruption. What instance of corruption? If FCI officials are corrupt, which they are generally, in fact, there are only a few, you can say, exceptions. So what they do, they first of all exchange the good products with the bad products. If you ever see on the highways, if you ever traveled on the highways of India, and if you see on the highways on the roadside, trucks are, let's say, staying, or they are in fact staying over there. You will see that there are certain exchanges going on between the two trucks. And an exchange is basically the good material is taken out and bad product are sent there. So see, now here the second instance of corruption starts. Now it reaches to the godown. Now in godown also there are various elements of corruption. Now see how corruption is there. First of all, the godowns today have been all outsourced because the government doesn't have the sufficient capacity into godowns to keep the food grains. They're mainly outsourced. And of course, those godowns are under the charge of the district magistrate. The DM has to look after these all godowns to be properly managed. No, but DM can't go and oversee everything in that way. The officers appointed for that purpose has to report to the district magistrate in that order. So what happens? Of course, that particular godown which actually has been outsourced, now their employees are also involved in, of course, pilferage activities of those materials. A bag of 20 kg or 50 kg of food grains will come down to only 40 kg on the real measurement. All right. Now see, अब यहां से करप्शन स्टार्ट है और इस तरह से कम हजारों बैग से और हजारों बैग से 10-10 15-15 केजी निकाल लिया गया. सी क्या आया और क्या पहुंचा और यहां तक नहीं. नाउ सी आई मीन एवरीवन इन दिस बहती गंगा, एवरीवन ट्राइज टू वॉश देयर हैंड. नाउ फ्रॉम हियर this particular product has to be sent further to the PDS system. PDS. Now you imagine a product which has been procured from Haryana or maybe let's say from Punjab. It has to be sent to the districts or small towns of Chhattisgarh, or let's say for the case in Odisha, or let's say the case like northeastern states. अब यहां से उसको छत्तीसगढ़, उड़ीसा और नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स भेजना है. Another cost of transportation will be involved. Fine. Now it reaches to the, let's say, XYZ center in a particular district. Now from where there it is distributed further to the all fair price shops. Now in the fair price shops, again, there are also elements of corruption or corrupt elements are involved. Because fair price shops are also not run by the government directly, it is also outsourced. It is also outsourced. Now this PDS system also has had a lot of loopholes. What are loopholes over there? Let me tell you on your screen. Now see the screen now. So let us discuss the PDS system now. The PDS system, I told you yesterday also, it got originated from the World War II era itself. But even after 1947, it continued. And the free independent government of India continued this system, in fact, also here till 1997 without any interruption. Now, under the PDS system, what is supposed to be done? That the food grains, fuel, drugs or medicines, cotton. Now, these all items, sugar, now these all items are to be offered to the beneficiary at an affordable price. That is the purpose of PDS. Fine. So it continued in India, and it is continued, or rather, it is still continued in India through the centers of fair price shops, which is popularly called as ration shops. Now, see, this continued in India without any interruption till 1997, because from here, Government of India introduced a concept of TPDS. In 1992, there was small, you can say, modification that was done here. RPDS was launched in 2019-20. Now the government of India is claiming, or rather is promoting, one nation, one ration card slogan is there. All right. Now you see this RPDS, it is revamped PDS system. TPDS is targeted PDS system. Fine. So first and foremost, what was this RPDS, which was launched in 1992? See, RPDS was launched in 1992 in the name of revamped PDS. It was primarily done to address a very important shortcoming of PDS, and that was its reach out. It was unable to reach out to the distant region people, or people who are living in distant areas or far-flung areas, primarily in the areas of the let's say the Himalayan topography or the mountainous topography. All right. Then also the forest areas, then the far-flung areas, that is nearby the border areas. Now, in these areas, the PDS system was still not very much functional. All right. People out there were unable to access the facilities of fair price shops. Fine. So the government brought the first reform in the PDS. It was in 1992 under the revamped PDS system, in which these areas were targeted where the fair price shops will be opened. Fair price shops will be opened, and here the PDS system will support the people out there. ठीक है, ये पहला रिफॉर्म किया गया. अब देखिए, now with this reform, of course, till 1997, the benefit of PDS was being reaped by everyone. Everyone in this country, whether rich or poor, they used to get the benefit of the PDS. Now, under the PDS system, one thing is clear, that people will be offered the goods at subsidized rate. Because how can you offer, let's say, at rupees 2 or rupees 1, 1 kg of rice or 1 kg of, let's say, wheat? Obviously, even the cost of production will not be derived out of this. Leave that. Even you take the example that, let's take an example that you are charging even rupees 10 per kg for sugar. All right, so rupees 10 per kg for sugar. The market price of sugar is in the currently it's also rupees 30 plus 35, 40 rupees per kg. but you are offering it rupees 10 per kg for the PDS system. So it is subsidized because even the cost of production can't be derived from this molecular selling of sugar at rupees 10 per kg. So it is subsidized rate. So of course, the benefit of subsidies were being reaped by everyone in this country, including our houses also. All right. The best example is that in this era, India was having a problem of the 24 to 7 hours energy supply. So therefore, kerosene used to be the most coveted item from PDS. Kerosene. So everyone used to get the kerosene at a subsidized rate. ठीक है, सबको मिलता था, सबके घर में आता था केरोसिन 5 लीटर हर सप्ताह. So this is how the kerosene used to be used by everyone in this country at a subsidized rate. Now this issue was having a problem for the government, because in the long run these all subsidized products or subsidized items will add huge financial burden on the government. Financial burden on the government. And this financial burden was in the context of the rising fiscal deficit for the government. All right, rising fiscal deficit, or let's say with the budget deficit at that particular point of time for the government. So the government was facing a very deep crisis of rising budget deficit. So obviously it has to be reformed, because in this condition, everyone can't get the benefit of subsidies. Then finally, the government proposed to have this TPDS system. It's called as targeted PDS system. Targeted public distribution system. And what was this targeted public distribution system? Now let me tell you what was this. Now see, TPDS system, targeted public distribution system. Now under this, what was done for the first time? Entire population were divided into BPL, APL. Above poverty line, and below poverty line. So above poverty line and below poverty line. All right. So people are classified into BPL and APL. Now you see, the APL, they were discouraged to come to the fair price shops or to get the benefit of PDS. They were not completely denied. No, they were discouraged. How? Let me tell you how. They were asked to pay 100% of the economic cost of the production or of the products. So 100% of economic cost of the products was charged from APL. And for BPL, it was asked to pay only 50% of the economic cost. Now, what is this economic cost? See, economic cost involves the prices paid at the time of procurement, the prices incurred at the time of storage, and the prices also incurred at the time of distribution of the product. So whatever price paid here, let's say X amount, whatever price paid here, let's say Y amount, whatever distribution was paid here, Z amount. So X plus Y plus Z is equal to economic cost of the product. Fine. And let me tell you, this question was asked by UPSC in prelims 2019, 2020 in fact. So in 2020 prelims, this question was asked that what is the economic cost of production? What all components are the part of economic cost production? Fine. If you see the question paper, you'll find this question was there. And this question has again been asked in this year's BPSC exam. Even in BPSC 2020, this question was asked. So this is economic cost of the product. So the point is 100%, that is whatever charge actually has been paid, X plus Y plus Z, that would be economic cost, and that will be charged from the customers, from the APL card holders who are eligible to get the benefit from the ration shops or fair price shops. Fine. And for the BPL, that is below poverty line population, who are having the card, BPL card holders, they have to pay only 50% of the economic cost of that product. So let me tell you, if suppose rupees 33 per kg is the price of sugar, is economic cost, so this particular price will have to be paid by the APL if they want to access sugar from ration shop. On the other hand, for BPL, they will have to pay only half of that. Fine. All right. And let me tell you, in certain instances, even rupees 33 is lesser for this APL. Because in open market, it must be 35 rupees per kg, 40 rupees per kg. All right. Because here in the economic cost production, profit has not been added. The government is not earning any profit out of that. Government is still doing welfare. But if you go to a shop, a kirana shop, he will add a profit also, profit margin also in that. Fine, that is the point. So then you see, for BPL, it was done like this way. Then in 2000, year 2000, the government added a concept of Antyodaya in India. 1999, 2000, that was a year when this Antyodaya concept was added in India. The Antyodaya concept has been derived from a concept of Michael Lipton. Now he gave a concept of ultra poverty. Michael Lipton, an economist, he gave the concept of ultra poverty. All right. And what is ultra poverty? It is poorest among the poor. You see, poorest among the poor, they were called as ultra poor or ultra poverty, in fact. Fine, those who can't even afford a normal life, now they are called as poorest among the poor. All right, they can't even afford the 2 times meal. They are called as poorest among the poor. In India, they are called as Antyodaya. So for Antyodaya under the PDS system, it was meant that from BPL also there is one more classification, that is of Antyodaya. And for this Antyodaya, the prices will be charged rupees 2, rupees 1, rupee 1 for the products like wheat or paddy, in fact paddy, rice, all right, wheat and other essential items. So this is how you see they have to pay only rupees 2 per kg for wheat, rupees 1 per kg for let's say paddy, for rupees 1 kg for wheat. That is how they can get the access of the government benefit to the TPDS or so-called PDS system. Fine. So now see, in this manner, the government brought a reform in the PDS system to ensure the element of social justice, equity, and distributive justice must be placed on the ground. And I told you also, and I'm again repeating it, that through this scheme, that is for PDS scheme, the government is running the world's largest food network program. The government of India is running the world's largest food network program, and in every year, it caters more than 2.65 crore Antyodaya people of this country. 2.65 crore Antyodaya population of India. They are receiving the benefit through the PDS system. Now that is the achievement of this particular PDS system. Fine. Now see, this is the concept of PDS basically. Now you have critical analysis also of PDS. Critical analysis is also there for the PDS. Let us also discuss that. Fine. So see on your screen, are you able to see the green screen? Blank one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see, I'm writing about the critical analysis of PDS. Now, let us see critical analysis of PDS. So first and foremost, we have understood that PDS actually has had a mixed bag of results. In fact, it has achieved various things, especially it has catered the need of the poorest among the poor in India. Secondly, it has also ensured the element of food security in this country. So, to a larger extent, the element of food security also got ensured through this particular concept only. And all the concepts of the government of India, all the schemes of the government of India as well, especially the schemes like, let's say, the Food Security Act, schemes like, let's say, the National Nutrition Mission, which has been launched recently by the government of India in 2017. So these all schemes are actually executed through the PDS system only. Therefore, PDS system is a very important aspect or concept of our country. Fine. So even Anganwadi, midday meal scheme, they all receive support to the PDS system only. Fine. So PDS system is a lifeline for the poorest among the poor people in our country. You can't stop PDS because that's a lifeline for millions of people who are still dependent upon the PDS, who cannot afford the food grains at the market rate. So that, therefore, it is a lifeline for them. But in the PDS, there are also various loopholes. Let us discuss that also now. What are the shortcomings? See, the first and the foremost shortcoming is there's a huge cases of leakages, corruption, all right, and mismanagement in PDS system. That's a very first and very serious shortcoming. Second, PDS system has an urban bias in the country. All right, now what is this urban bias? See, I just told you that the PDS system covers or caters the poor mainly, and the poorest among the poor also mainly. So, in a very simplistic or let's say manner, if I ask you a question, where do the poor live? I mean, you can say mainly in our country. Where do they live in our country? Of course, they mainly live in the rural areas. No, poverty is there also in urban areas. It's not like poverty is not there in urban areas. But in rural areas, mainly the poor of our country, in majority they live. That's a fact. But ironically, PDS or ration shops are not in every village in our country. Ration shops are mainly located in the urban areas, and poor in India lives in the villages. तो किसको दे रहे हो राशन भाई? Isn't it? I'll tell you one very interesting example in front of you. When I started this particular career of teaching, in fact, in 2011, with full-fledged in Synergy, those days Synergy used to be our platform where we used to teach. It was of Mohanty sir. He was my senior from the college and hostel days of Hindu College and Mansarovar Hostel. We used to stay together. So I started my career from there only, in fact, as a teacher. So when I started teaching this particular segment of economy, and when I read in various books about this particular segment of urban biasness, I got this sort of inquisitiveness to know about the reality of this particular observation made by a scholar, an economist whose book I read about this particular on this particular issue. And Mohanty sir, Synergy used to have two centers during those time. One was in Mukherjee Nagar, another one was in Karol Bagh. So in Mukherjee Nagar, the center was located nearby a PDS shop or nearby a ration shop, basically. All right, and I just got an inquisitiveness, and after taking the class, I still remember it was somewhere around 6:30 around. The class got over. I was going back to my home, and in the on the way itself, this particular ration shop was located. So I inquired about it. I went to the ration shop and I inquired about it that who all come to your shop. I mean, whether the poor come to your shop or who all in fact who are the customer. What are the customers? What is the customer base of this shop basically? That was my question in fact. So first of all, ration shop gave me a very amused look. कि ये कौन बंदा आ गया भाई? He asked me क्या कोई किस डिपार्टमेंट से आप आए हो? ऐसा कोई डिपार्टमेंट में नहीं हूँ, मैं यही का हूँ, लोकल ही हूँ. जस्ट आई वांटेड टू नो कि एक्चुअली बच्चों को पढ़ाना होता है, तो आई जस्ट वांटेड टू नो कि एग्जैक्टली स्टेटस क्या है. थोड़ा सा प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल भी ले लूँ, एक्सपीरियंस ले लूँ. देन आस्क कि नहीं नहीं आप घबराइए मत, आई एम नॉट फ्रॉम एनी डिपार्टमेंट, यू टेल मी एग्जैक्टली कि कौन से लोग आपके यहाँ आते हैं जो राशन लेके जाते हैं. तो देन ही नरेटेड मी entire story. He said that अच्छा ठीक है, then I'll tell you. Then he told me कि यहाँ पे तो कोई बीपीएल है ही नहीं. आई सेड मतलब? तो वो मुझे उसने कहा कि आपको तो पता होगा कि राशन शॉप बीपीएल के लिए मेनली होता है. मैंने कहा वो तो मुझे पता है डेफिनेटली, लेकिन किन कैसे कस्टमर्स आपके यहाँ आते हैं, तो यहाँ पे तो कोई बीपीएल है ही नहीं. आई सेड आर यू श्योर? यस, आई कैन शो यू माय डॉक्यूमेंट आल्सो. He said that there is not a single BPL card holder in this area of Mukherjee Nagar for which this ration shop has to deliver the products. Then again got great surprise. I asked कि तो फिर कैसे, मतलब how do you survive and how do you run this particular center? He told me कि जितने ढाबे वाले हैं, जितने रेस्टोरेंट वाले हैं, इनके कारण ही हम बचे हुए हैं. So he told me कि ये ढाबे वाले राशन वाले, ये ढाबे वाले और जो रेस्टोरेंट वाले आसपास जो है, ये सब हमसे राशन ले जाते हैं। तो मैंने पूछा कि फिर आप तो राशन किसी जगह पे दिखाते होंगे? तो हम दिखाते हैं एपीएल कार्ड होल्डर के नाम पे। So APL card holder, he showed me the list. There were somewhere around more than 100 the names were there. He told me that out of these 100 names, only 10, 20 people come every month, not even more than that. So rest, they do not come, and those who do not come, in the name of them, we sell this product to the local dhaba wala, local restaurant walas. So they purchase these products. Now that's a typical case of this urban bias. I mean, of course, the concept of ration shop is to deliver the product, deliver the goods for the poorest or the poorest among the poor in our country. But in Mukherjee Nagar area, in the heart of the Mukherjee Nagar area, there's no poor. That's true. That's true. There's no person in heart of Mukherjee area who is BPL and who must be having the BPL card holder. Yet this particular ration shop is still functional. अभी भी वो है. अभी भी हम जाके देखेंगे, आपको मिल जाएगा ration shop. So what's the basis of having the ration shop in Mukherjee Nagar area? If you don't have any BPL card holder, yet you are running ration shop, for what purpose? So this is a typical case of urban biasness. Fine, that's another important example for all of you. Now see, third, in the PDS system, it has also been seen that the poor hardly lift their entitled quota of goods. Now see, in one of these surveys conducted by an NGO in 1999, 2000 around itself. Now, with this survey, it was found that the majority of the poor in India, they live either in Bihar, UP, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, basically that way, Madhya Pradesh. All right. So these are the states where the majority of the poor they live. But according to the data, less than even 33% of the poor in these states, they get the benefit from the ration shop. Less than 33%. You can understand even 1/3. So less than 33% of the poor people from these states, they are lifting their quotas of ration or their ration from the nearby ration shops. Then what is happening to those rations? Those rations are basically sold out in the open market by the ration shop owners, and they pocket out the entire difference into their own pocket, into their own account. So they have been pocketing the difference by selling the product in the open market. And let me tell you, from the same open market, me and you are consuming the ration which was meant for some poor people, but we have no information कि राशन पे लिखा नहीं होता है कहां से आया. All right, there's nowhere it is written कि this particular rice that you are consuming, if it is an open market, if it is not packaged product, then obviously you can't actually distinguish that the rice has come from where, or the sugar has come from where. All right. So the idea is, this is how these ration shop walas are also involved in this entire process of corruption. Fine. So now you say this is how the PDS system has completely been mismanaged. It has been put under the system of corrupt system of you can say all the elements, and because of that, the poor have not received the benefits for which they have been entitled in our country. Fine. Then the Fourth point was the quality of products. So quality of products are extremely poor. Quality of products are extremely poor, which are sold through the ration shops. Fine. Sometimes they are even sold the rotten products. Rotten products are also given to the beneficiary. All right. And at many occasions, even that is not also offered by the ration shop wallas by simply indicating that ration has not arrived in the shop as of now. So since rations have not arrived in the shop as of now, so even they have been denying the rights to the actual beneficiaries in our country. That is how they have been mismanaging the entire affair in India. Now, see, in the backdrop of this, we can simply understand that the PDS system has also been a victim of extreme leakages and corruption in this country, and that's the reason why even the Planning Commission has to acknowledge. Planning Commission had acknowledged that in the PDS system, out of rupee 1, only 20 paisa is reaching to the actual beneficiary. All right. So out of rupee 1, only 20 paisa is reaching. Then 80 paisa who is eating? The middleman, the entire process, the entire system. So the government on one hand is spending a lot of money for the PDS, but on the ground, the benefits are not reaching to the actual beneficiaries. And that exactly is the problem of this country. That exactly is the problem. Why? Because we may have become food self-sufficient, but India is yet to become completely food secured country. This is the problem. The problem is huge amount of corruption. Fine. And that's how we have to now find out the solution. Then what is the solution for this? Now C, solution. There could be multiple solutions to address all these anomalies, but let me tell you some landmark examples before all of you. Solutions like the states like Delhi, Chhattisgarh, Himachal, Tamil Nadu are the role model states as far as the PDS system execution is concerned. So in the implementation of PDS system, these states are considered to be role models. State like Himachal, Chhattisgarh are role models. Delhi also now. Tamil Nadu also now. Now why and how? Let me tell you how and why. Say, in these three states, they have adopted almost a similar method. They have gone for the policy of Jam Trinity now. There is Jandhan Aadhaar Mobile Technology Trinity now. And here, of course, they have not been able to directly transfer the money. So direct transfer of benefit is not yet being done. But what they have done, they have used technology. They have used technology for better execution of PDS, for better implementation of PDS. What technology? Let me tell you what technology. They have used a simple technology, that is mobile technology only till now. Now, what is mobile technology? Now, under mobile technology, what is actually done? The beneficiary's account number and the mobile number both are attached. Both are linked, in fact. The beneficiary's cardholder's number, a cardholder's account number, and their mobile number both are now linked. So, in the name of any beneficiary who is having the card, now the total allocated amount of ration or any other good that is sent from the central authority, from the central government, all right, which reaches to the district magistrate. So the district headquarter, under the observance of DM, they deliver an SMS on their mobile, an SMS regarding their entitlement, the day when it was sent to them. It was sent to the nearby ration shop. So any card holder will have a prior information that tomorrow in my nearby ration shop, I will be getting my ration. It has arrived. Now they will go to the nearby ration shop and their ration shop owner can't deny that your ration has not arrived, because this has been the practice in India since long. So they will have to acknowledge, yes, your ration has arrived, because anyhow they have got the message. All right. And once they will take the ration from the ration shop, even that will also have to be informed. In fact, that also has to be informed by the ration shop owner on their computer system. So it is completely computerized ration shop now in these states. So the moment they will feed the, of course, offtake, it will be again delivered as a message on the cardholder's numbers basically. So they will get to know that okay, 20 kg of ration has been given to them. Now this is compulsory. Why? Because through this the card holders have been empowered. कि कितना amount आया और कितना उन्होंने लिया, both these messages are delivered to them. Fine. Now this is the best model to empower the beneficiary. That actually has been now done in the states like Delhi, Chhattisgarh, and Himachal. Even Tamil Nadu has also adopted a very interesting model of PDS. Now in Tamil Nadu, they have GPS technology and RFID tagged bags in Tamil Nadu. So radio frequency identification tag, radio frequency identification tag bags. So see, the moment the transportation of FCI reaches to, or transport system of FCI reaches to Tamil Nadu border, the Tamil Nadu government changes the bag with RFID tag bags. All right, it is done under supervision of SDM of that area. So SDM is supposed to oversee this entire process. So it can't be done by the middleman. So this is how it actually is transferred into the RFID tag bags. And then it is loaded on the other mode of transportation. And these loaded RFID tagged bags are then monitored through the GPS technology. So there is a centralized GPS center in Tamil Nadu with the Tamil Nadu government. And then they monitor, sitting in Chennai, every movement of RFID bags, where they are moving, in which direction they are moving. All right. And when it reaches to the destination, in fact, in that way, So the moment it reaches to their destination, then only they get the confirmation from the, I mean, of course, the center, that is the fair price shops. So once fair price shops confirm it, then only they get the assurance that the product has reached to the right place. So this is how the GPS technology has almost eliminated the corruption or the leakages of food grains, which used to be rampant in all the states. Now you can see through GPS, through mobile, radical changes have been done on the ground. That's not the end. Now today the government is contemplating upon an idea about the direct benefit transfer, DBT. Now see, DBT is one of those schemes which is under consideration of the government for PDS system also. Now, one such kind of experiment was introduced by the government on an experimental basis, especially in the regions like Andhra Pradesh. In Andhra Pradesh, coupon system was introduced in 1998, 97, 98, in fact, around. Now, what is coupon system? It was almost just like DBT, but DBT is more elaborative than this. Now, what was coupon system? See, under coupon system, what Andhra Pradesh government did, they didn't allow, or rather they didn't allow the fair price shops to operate there in Andhra Pradesh. They removed fair price shops because they knew this is also an element of corruption. So what they did, they issued coupons. The district administration started distributing coupons among the beneficiaries, the actual beneficiaries, in fact. Now the beneficiaries having the coupon, it used to entitle them for receiving the amount or quota of food grains from any place in the market, from any shop in the market. So quota of food grains, they can receive it from any shop in the market. And then the shop owner was supposed to produce the same coupon in the authorized banks, and the banks will have to deliver the amount of money into the account of shop owner on the receiving of this authorized coupon. And the banks were paid by the, of course, government. Fine. So see, the beneficiary will receive only what coupon, and with this coupon he can go to any shop, and on the basis of the quota assigned on this coupon, he or she can receive the amount of food grains from any shop. The shopkeeper will get the money from the bank. Once the bank will cross check verify the coupon, if it is correct, of course, the bank will deliver the money into the account of the shop owners. This is how shop owners will get the money. Fine. And the choices increased for the beneficiaries. The choices increased. Why? Because now they can go to any shop wherever the products are actually available, or good products are available, in fact, in that way. So that was a good experiment, but it was again found to be a problem for the, of course, government. Why? The problem was in the context of that coupon was also fabricated. All right. So coupon was also fabricated. It was also printed fine, in an unauthorized manner, and again corruption increased. So experimental basis, it was good, but in the long run, fictitious, fake coupons were printed. And with these fake coupons, of course, there was again corruption started in Andhra Pradesh within a year itself. So this system was again abolished. So it didn't give the result the way the government wanted to have a result in Andhra Pradesh. Fine. Now you see, today the government wants to shift upon the DBT, that is direct benefit transfer scheme. And what is the direct benefit transfer scheme? Under this DBT scheme, the government under the PDS system will not supply the food grains. What the government will do? Government will supply or in fact transfer the money into the account of the beneficiary. All right. And this money will be used by the beneficiary for the purchase of food grains from the open market. The one rider the government has already announced, which is already visible also in the Food Security Act, is this money will be transferred in the name of the oldest women of the family. So the oldest woman member of a family will receive the money in their account, and that money will be used for purchasing food grains in the open market. That is actually the proposal of the DBT. Fine. So with this, entire PDS system and burden of running PDS system will be completely over. But in this system also, in the DBT system also, there are few challenges. One challenge is everyone must be having a running account. That is what we say, no frill account. So everyone must be having no frill account. Now the banks today are also having a problem to maintain this no frill account. Banks also do not want to have this no frill account. Banks are not very much motivated to have no frill account. All right. So that is another challenge for the government to convince the bank also for having a no frill account. Like Jan Dhan Yojana was in the same way manner. It was no frill account. Banks were not very motivated to open Jan Dhan account. Today, banks are not opening Jan Dhan account. Today, you go to a bank, they will deny, no, we have already closed it. The scheme was there, but today it is not, the scheme is not running. So the government actually has a problem of, first of all, convincing these banks to go for no frill account. Their no frill account will be open for every member of the family, or especially for the eldest member of the family. Fine. Now, in that order, this account is not going to be so simple task for the government to get it open for everyone in this country. That's the first very serious limitation. Second limitation in this concept is that what is the guarantee that the money that will be sent to the account of the eldest woman of a family will be used for the purchase of food grains? Because in our system or in a society which is highly patriarchal, of course, the male members would not let the woman to enjoy a freedom to use this money only for food grains. They can also misuse that money for any particular extravagance or any particular expenditure. So that's another very serious problem in India. The patriarchy is another serious issue in our society. Fine, that's another serious issue. The third issue is, what amount of money will you provide? Because food is a highly volatile item. इन्फ्लेशन। अब कल 10 रुपए में टमाटर मिल रहा था, आज टमाटर 30 रुपए मिलेगा, 40 रुपए केजी मिलेगा, है ना। आलू मिल रहा था 15 रुपए केजी, आज मिल रहा है आलू 50 रुपए केजी। So idea is there's no any constancy, there's no any stability in the pricing of this food item. It's highly volatile items. So what amount of money will government keep deciding to keep sending into the account of the beneficiary? So that is a serious challenge with this concept of DBT, especially for the FDS system. So therefore, till the time the government does not create that robust infrastructure, especially in the context of the banking facilities and the production of food grains properly in India, this concept can't be executed so easily in this country. Fine. One possible solution as far as Santa Kumara committee is concerned, that if this particular PDS system is decentralized, then there will be a lesser evils, a lesser element of corruption in the system. So what the government can do, central government can only transfer the money into the account of the state governments. And rest of the responsibilities of procurement, storage, distribution, these all responsibilities can be given into the hand of the state governments. And there could be a system of incentivizing, which Niti Aayog has already done it. Niti Aayog has started the concept of various index that measures the performance of the state governments in India. So one of the index or indices that Niti Aayog can also design, it could be on the Food Security Index of India. And there the government can provide some incentives to the best performing states on the element of food security aspect. Now it will lessen down the burden on the central government, the headache of the central government, and the best way of the decentralization of the governance can be done through this particular map. Fine. And the same can be applied also with the state government. A state government can also decentralize this entire process to local panchayats, to gram sabhas. Okay. Now see, this could be a solution for improvising the PDS system. But let me tell you, as a bureaucrat or as a civil servant, you will face this challenge in your career for sure. Once you're appointed as a district magistrate in your life, this will come as a challenge for you for sure. How would you tackle it? Because as a DM, you will have to ensure a couple of things. You have to ensure that the stake of the people, especially the poor, it should not be compromised. And you have to also ensure that there is no cases of corruption in your administration. Now, definitely both of them are equally very huge challenge for you. This question has already been asked in UPSC as a ethics in ethics paper. Now the point is, how would you manage it? Now see, to check corruption, obviously you require a long-term strategy. Now, this long-term strategy would be in the context of using more and more technology, because the very fundamental factor about corruption is the human involvement. So till the time human involvement will remain there in the system, corruption can't be stopped. It is a fact. So you be whatever in whatever shape, whatever you can say mood, whatever ambition you carry, you can't do it. You can't do away with this. Rather, you will be transferred, but corruption will remain. So the point is, human involvement is the major factor behind corruption. So what you have to do, you have to lessen down this involvement. You have to find out a solution in terms of use of more and more technology. So use of more and more technology will automatically lessen down the human intervention. So technology like, of course, which we have discussed just now, a few role models in that way. There could be more technologies also in near future. For example, biometric security. The biometric cards, Aadhaar card is one of those security measures. You can also use it in terms of lessening down the elements of corruption. Fine. And even the other technology like mobile technology, GPS, etc., can also be used there. That is going to be a long-term strategy. But the point is, what will you do for the people out there who needs the support immediately? So you'll have to also find some short-term strategy. And you know that there's a huge cases of corruption. There's a huge leakages going on in India, going on in your district, let's say. Corruption is very rampant. So leakages are there, corruption is there. Then even though you have to ensure that despite this, people should not suffer. People should not suffer, and that's actually is going to be your priority. The actual beneficiary should not suffer. No one sleep without eating meal. That is also your very essential priority. Now, in this manner, you have to find out some short-term strategy. Now, what is a short-term strategy? See, you'll have to find out that which all items actually become highly vulnerable for leakages and corruption in our PDS system. Suppose you come across that, okay, the kind of rice that we supply in the PDS, if good quality of rice is supplied in PDS, which is always going to, of course, finally rest upon whether it's going to lie down in the open market. All right, so it goes into the open market for sale. So to find out what is the possibility to replace it. For example, let's say coarse rice. Rice also has two kind of varieties. Now, these are solution that is out of box thinking. Out of box thinking you will have to do for addressing corruption. So coarse rice, the coarse rice, because see, there are two kind of rices that we use, है ना? आप सुनते होंगे अरवा चावल होता है, उसना चावल होता है. So normally in open market, people hardly eat that what we call as coarse rice or mota chawal. All right, they don't buy, but the poor can eat that. Poor does not need basmati rice to eat. Rich will require basmati rice only. We will require basmati rice only to eat. So in open market, we'll go for only basmati rice, a good quality of rice, not for this coarse rice. So we will offer coarse rice. We'll replace quality rice immediately from the PDS. That's the first solution. Second, we can also replace, let's say, sugar if sugar is also highly vulnerable. So sugar can be replaced with, let's say, jaggery. So if sugar is highly vulnerable for corruption, it is also sold in the open market. So we will not provide sugar for the PDS system for the time being. Let's have jaggery, because rich will not eat jaggery, gur. So rich will not eat jaggery, but the poor can happily eat jaggery. Now the point is, you will have to find out such kind of solutions being in administration. Are you getting my point? You can't go for a normal thinking to address these serious issues, because your ancestors could not do it in administration. Your seniors could not do it in administration. You are not James Bond that overnight will change the entire system of administration. System will change you. You can't change the system. But by remaining in the system, you will have to find out a solution. And that's actually a test of your mettle. Exactly, this will be asked to you also in your interview of IAS. All right, they will see your spirit. They will give you certain cases in which you will find yourself completely jabbed, and they will seek your response. They will also give the clue. Okay, fine. Will you resign? You will say, yes, sir, I will resign. So obviously they will say that you are not fit for the service, because this particular practice will keep coming. This situation will keep coming in service. So they will seek your opinion in the context of that, do you have any solution for that or not? They require out of box thinking basically. Okay. So my point was, in the PDS system also, you have to find out the short-term solutions and the long-term solutions. All right. So that is the complete analysis of the PDS. So if you have any question, you can ask. Since I'm not completely well, so I will be summing up the class today here itself. Okay. If you have any question, you can ask. Then we can sum up the class, and then on Monday we'll meet again.
सर वो जो बीपीएल को जो प्रोवाइड करते हैं 50% इकोनॉमिक कॉस्ट पे, तो वो जो 50% होता है वो सिर्फ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट बियर करता है कि स्टेट गवर्नमेंट बियर करता है उसको?
पूरा सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. Pura central government. If the state government has some more schemes, let's say some state government also run their own schemes. So they will purchase it from central government, and then they can also further subsidize it. जैसे अम्मा राशन चलता है तमिलनाडु में, है ना? तो वो अम्मा राशन चलता है जिसमें आप 5 रुपए में खाना खिला रहे हैं, उसमें खाना खिला रहे हैं, तो वो तमिलनाडु गवर्नमेंट खरीदती है FCI से सब्सिडाइज रेट पे, उसको फिर फर्दर सब्सिडाइज करती है, तब देती है जनता को. ये ठीक है.
सर.
हाँ बताइए.
सर वो जो आंध्र प्रदेश वाला एग्जांपल था, सिमिलर प्रॉब्लम जीएसटी में आ रहा है ना?
हाँ, उसमें बहुत सारे एग्जांपल्स थे. इनफैक्ट आंध्र प्रदेश को तो मैंने एक एग्जांपल दिया. जैसे कि आंध्र प्रदेश में और एग्जांपल है घोस्ट कार्ड का. जो बीपीएल कार्ड्स है, ये फेक भी बनते हैं.
हाँ.
और अब सरप्राइज हो जाएंगे सुन के कि आंध्र प्रदेश में पाया गया कि 67% हाउस होल्ड जो है बीपीएल कार्ड होल्डर्स थे. 67% households in Andhra Pradesh were having the BPL card. How is it possible? So fake BPL कार्ड वहां बनना शुरू हो गया था. घोस्ट BPL कार्ड बनना शुरू हो गया था. जो इंसान मरा हुआ है उसके नाम पे अभी कार्ड चल रहा है. राम बाबू कब के पधार गए, लेकिन राम बाबू के नाम पे अभी भी जो है लोग अनाज उठा रहे हैं. सो ये बड़ा कॉमन प्रॉब्लम रहा है इस बीपीएल कार्ड होल्डर सिस्टम में. ठीक है. तो इसको घोस्ट कार्ड भी कहते हैं, जिसमें भारत को काफी नुकसान हो चुका है अभी तक. ठीक है.
सर while writing the answers हम अपनी तरफ से भी खुद suggestions लिख सकते हैं.
हाँ, why not? That's what actually I given you the scope to understand it, that you have to go for some out of box thinking also, since you've understood the problem at every stage. Collection में, storage में, distribution में, तो you have to find out कि कहाँ का solution हो सकता है. What all solutions can you suggest? Can you give? In fact, ठीक है.
Thank you.
Yes.
हेलो सर।
हाँ पंकज।
हाँ सर, ये जो सिस्टम था सर, ये पीडीएस, सो सर इसमें एपीएल को भी अलाउ है क्या वो राशन लेना?
एपीएल भी अलाउ है, इसलिए तो इसमें दो प्रॉब्लम थी। एक तो एपीएल को जो इन्होंने पहले तो सोचा हटा दें, लेकिन एपीएल को हटाने से क्या होता कि जो फेयर प्राइस शॉप्स है उनका बिजनेस ही नहीं हो पाता, तो उनका बिजनेस भी करवाना था, कस्टमर्स का बेस कम हो जाता है, तो इन्होंने एपीएल को भी अलाउ ही कर दिया। और एपीएल को अलाउ कर दिया, लेकिन उसको चाहा कि वो डिस्करेज हो, कम से कम आके सामान खरीदे, इसलिए वो 100% इकोनॉमिक कॉस्ट पे ही एपीएल को सामान बेचना शुरू हो गया इंडिया में। और अभी भी वही चल रहा है। अभी भी आप देखेंगे बहुत सारे लोगों के पास अभी भी कार्ड है, राशन कार्ड है। तो जो राशन कार्ड होता है वो एपीएल बीपीएल अलग क्लासिफाई होता है, कलर वाइज अलग अलग होता है। दिल्ली में अलग कलर है, बिहार में अलग कलर है, यूपी में अलग कलर्स है, तो ऐसे मिलता है। ठीक है, तो ये है कहानी।
सर लेकिन अभी अभी ऐसा है कि केवल दो ही होता है मेरे ख्याल से, अंत्योदय और बीपीएल। एपीएल तो मेरे
हाँ
सोसाइटी में सर दो ही होता है, अंत्योदय और बीपीएल।
नहीं,
एपीएल नहीं होता है सोसाइटी में।
तीन तरह के कार्ड चलते हैं अभी भी। अंत्योदय कार्ड भी होते हैं, बीपीएल भी कार्ड होते हैं और एपीएल कार्ड होते हैं। एपीएल कार्ड इस दिल्ली में व्हाइट होता है, व्हाइट कलर का एपीएल कार्ड होना।
अच्छा सर, यूपी में लेकिन सर नहीं होता है सर, क्योंकि मैंने इंटरनेट पे पूरा डिटेल निकाला था एक बार,
अच्छा
तो
है।
केवल अंत्योदय का आ रहा था और इनका बीपीएल का आ रहा था, एपीएल का कुछ आ ही नहीं रहा था उसमें।
नहीं, वहां भी होगा, वहां भी है इनफैक्ट। आप पता कीजिएगा, किसी लोकल वहां पर जो नेता होता है वो बता देंगे। हाँ होता है, वहां भी है।
ओके।
राशन कार्ड तो पहचान पत्र है इंडिया में अभी भी। ठीक है, तो वो तो होगा ही होगा। ठीक है, हाँ
और
वो
सर
अलग।
हाँ, और सर जो आपने ऐसा ऐसा नहीं कहा कि जो वहाँ का जो राइस आता है
हाँ
वहाँ, तो वो आइडेंटिफाई नहीं हो पाएगा क्योंकि सब मिक्स हो जाता है, लेकिन जो यहाँ के एक्सपीरियंस लोग हैं वो समझ जाते हैं कि ये जो राइस है वो राशन वाला है, वो जो राइस है वो अच्छी क्वालिटी वाला, ये
हाँ, तो
वाला।
वो एक्सपीरियंस वही होंगे ना जो ये धंधे में लगे होंगे। हम और आप तो नहीं होंगे। हम और आपको तो सिर्फ मतलब है खाने से, तो
Yes.
हमारे लिए तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा, लेकिन जो इसी काम में लगे हुए हैं तो उनको तो पता होता है कौन कहाँ से आया माल। ठीक है,
Yes.
तो वो तो है ही, ये तो है ही सही सिस्टम में। ठीक
Yes.
है।
सर इसमें डीएम हैज द लिबर्टी टू डिसाइड कि क्या आइटम आएगा, क्या आइटम
हाँ
डिलीवर होगा।
हाँ, डीएम हैज एक्सट्रीम पावर इन दिस सिस्टम।
ओके।
ये पूरा सिस्टम चलता है डीएम के ऑर्डर से ही। ठीक है, okay then, let's sum up the class today. We'll meet again on Monday. ठीक है, and of course you have test also, I think, or discussion thing, I think, tomorrow. So then you can write the essay and then give it to me, or maybe on Sunday, and मैं फिर मंडे को बात करूंगा essay के ऊपर। ठीक है, see you then, thank you, bye bye, take care,
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू
yeah,
सर।
bye.
Thank you, sir.